Man, I woke up this morning and I see a new message on this private Discord server I'm in. It's not a friend group, it's a Dungeons and Dragons thing, right? We play every Sunday morning. So I checked the server and one of the players is saying, guys, I might be moving again to another part of the country. And he's telling us this because I don't know if I told you this story in the Aqua anime lore, but this guy specifically, let's call him Draymond, right? When I met Draymond, I met him last year on a public Dungeons and Dragons server, and his internet was terrible. He would join games, and then his internet would just go out. Why? Because he lived in Northern California, and whenever there was a heat wave or something, there would be forest fires or whatever, and it would shut down his whole power, or there would be an outage all throughout the area. Now, before we started playing in this private Dungeons and Dragons campaign, he told us we couldn't start, even though we had a planned start date. We couldn't start until later because he's moving from California to Maine. So literally across the country. And he's bringing his computer, his monitor, everything. So he says he hopes to have better internet. Also, his family is mentally exhausting. I don't want to get into that, right? He's got issues going on with his family. So this is a whole new start for him, a whole new life. So I asked him, why specifically, why are you moving to Maine? What's in Maine, bruh? Seriously, come to New York, huh? Overpriced rent, overpriced food. Suffer with us, bro. California is expensive too, but New York is where all the BS is at. You know what I'm saying? You can watch people do drill videos while you're driving down the street. Like, come on, man. Like, but Maine? Draymond, come on, cuz. So he told us he's moving in with his girlfriend. His girlfriend. So Draymond was in an online relationship and dating some shorty. And now she's basically going to bring him to her house and move in with her family. So I'm like, wait a minute, Draymond, aren't you 18? I don't know how old shorty is, but wait, you're 18 and you're moving across the country to your girl's house who you've never met before in person. And you're going to move in with her and her family. I said, hey, you know what? I guess you really like her. All right. You know what I'm saying? Who am I to judge? You know what I'm saying? I'm the one who dates all the time, too. Who am I to judge? And if they feel it's going to work out, hey, whatever. So when I was 18, I moved out with my ex. And I told stories about that on this channel, how that fell apart. Right. So when you're 18, you don't understand how fast you move to do adult things like moving out with no security. By the way, when he told us he was moving to Maine, I was dating Samantha still. Now, at that point, I just mentioned about me dating. I was dating Samantha for about 2 years at this point, and that was an online relationship. I've been in the field, so I asked him, yo, so, you know, that's great. Congratulations. You know, you and your online shorty, you guys going to live together now. That's awesome. You know what I'm saying? But how long have you two been dating? Samantha and I were 2 years, and I haven't moved in. So you two must have been dating each other for like, I don't know how long. You know what I'm saying? He says, no, we've been only dating for 6 months. Bro. Call. 6 months? What are you doing, man? Look, it's different if y'all were dating in person. Okay, and then you move in with somebody, right? E-dating, even though things move fast online, you think it moves fast online with e-dating, but being in person is way different. Things move 10 times faster in person than it does online. That's why it's very stressed. That's why a lot of people can't date in person. They rather e-date because they have social anxiety. And then, you know, in person, since things move too fast, it's too much for you. Socially overwhelming. So when he told me that, I didn't say anything besides hoping for the best or something like that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to start putting negative or, you know, anxious thoughts inside of his head about this. You know what I'm saying? So I try not to say good luck to anyone anymore because I feel like that's already insinuating you need luck to succeed in whatever endeavor you have. Okay, let's not, you know, you're bound to fail already, whatever. Now, going back to the future, and I'm saying going to the future here today. Again, he left a message saying that he's moving back across the country. So when I read this, I was like, I already know something's going on with him and Shorty. You know what I'm saying? Like, why are you moving across the country again? Is he moving back to Cali? And hey, what's going on? She's actually in the Discord server with us. He invited her to the server to watch our games, even though they live in the same house. I don't know, bro. It's cute, I guess. So he's saying that his girl that he's living with now, that he moved across the country for, and into her family's house as well. The girl is going back to college and she wants to be, quote, alone to focus on school. And because of that, she's kicking him out and he needs to stay with a friend or something. Now, boom. Immediately, I knew that was cap. But let me finish first, right? So I asked him, so, I mean, she says she needs to be alone to focus on school. I mean, that sounds reasonable. I mean, I don't know about being alone, though. That kind of sounds a little bit weird. I mean, if you want to be in a serious long-term relation with somebody and you can't focus, like you can't have somebody else around you, are you sure this is like the, you know what I'm saying? But I asked him, like, so are you a disturbance to her? Or does she feel that way about you? You got to ask these questions first before I open my mouth about how that's cap. He said, I don't feel so. I don't feel I'm a disturbance, but I would ask her to play a game or watch something together, and she doesn't want to, but will happily do so with others. And that makes me feel bad. When he told me that, my assumption was correct then. So for the record, Draymond doesn't have a job. He never really had a job anyway. He wants to be a firefighter. That's like his dream, but he has no high school diploma. You know, you just need a high school diploma to volunteer to be a firefighter, by the way, at least in most states here in the United States. So his only bet was the Job Corps, which I didn't even know existed in the 21st century. I forgot people still go through Job Corps, but he's going to go through it to do the firefighter training or something like that, right? But the best location for him is in Montana because he thinks he's going to stay at his friend's house who has been there, another online friend that is. Now, I said, I see. And I asked specifically, let me put this screenshot up first because people like making assumptions in my videos of where people think I'm just being mean for no reason. I did ask permission to speak freely, meaning I'm about to speak very bluntly without consideration that your girlfriend's in this Discord server and probably reading the chat right now. I'm going to speak very bluntly, okay? Can speak my mind here. Permission to speak freely. He says, sure. So first, I told him my life story a little bit about how I moved out when I was 18, right? And then I also told the Samantha situation. I was supposed to actually move out with Samantha, not to the UK. She was supposed to come here, and then, you know, we were supposed to find our own place. And then I said, hey, bro, look, I'm going to be honest, and sorry to play the gender roles card, but she sounds like she's resentful and doesn't feel safe around you. And that's why she has no empathy over your situation or anything. She knew she was going back to college. But she wasn't going to dorm. She just wanted to stay home with her family and do college work, right? She knew that. But she made you give up everything back in California to move in with her. She didn't actually, I wouldn't say she made you do it. She convinced you enough to do it because you're madly in love with this girl at this time, right? And then she decides to kick you out despite knowing you have no financial security or anything. She basically let you move in, let you hit it, got bored of you, and is telling you to move out. And she's using this I need to be alone narrative and excuse, which I've seen this used a lot of times, when in reality, she's spending time with a bunch of other people. This, I need to be alone. But I'm going to spend time with like a million other people, other guys, everything like that. But I got to be alone. Like that biggest cap ever, the biggest excuse ever. You know what I'm saying? It's just a terrible narrative. Like people think people actually believe that, you know what I'm saying? Which again, it means she doesn't want to be alone. She just doesn't want to be around you. But she can't say that bluntly because she doesn't want to take accountability for it. Anyway, but so she's tired and bored of you. She used you up and now she's basically on the hunt for another dude online, which probably is already getting closer with this person, whoever it is, because she spent a lot of time with other people more than you. Also, she's lost that excitement over having you over. And then I told him, look, dude, I don't know what happened, but she sounds very resentful right now. And he didn't give me the details, but he mentioned he's not perfect. He made mistakes, had regrets, and he's just going to accept it and move on. And I told him, hey, that's very mature. Look, if you need anything, I'm sure I can help, or someone else on the server can pitch in to help you too. If you need some cash or anything, we got you, dude. No biggie. You might have to move back home with your family in California, though. And listen, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Now, several lessons in this story that aren't so obvious, I should say, right? He's 18. He's impulsive. I was that way too. Like I said, I moved out with Shorty when someone who I wasn't dating for too long either. I thought I trusted her and everything, but this goes with the first lesson here. When you date somebody, always be compassionate and caring, right? Because how they treat other people when they're angry or resentful, they'll do it to you when they're on those same emotions. Oftentimes, we're infatuated and in love with someone, we don't take enough mental notes on how the person we're dating will handle conflict. And people will tell you will clearly show how they handle conflict the first time you meet them too. They'll talk about their life. They'll trauma dump. You'll be like, okay, well, take mental notes. You still may like them, but no, okay, so, like some people will act in rage when they're in conflict, right? Some people will isolate. Some people will push others away. Some others go to other people. Like they'll just start talking to other people. You know what I'm saying? Me personally, I get irritated. Like I don't like people talking to me when I'm going through a lot. You know what I'm saying? I don't like that. That's why if you heard the saying, how you get her is the same way how you lose her, that's why that tends to be accurate. If you picked up Shorty because she cheated on her ex, guess what she finna do to you when she's also bored of you and find someone new that excites her? You're just next on the list. It's just a cycle. How you get them is how you lose them. So Draymond's girlfriend is a push away type of person. She's not an isolator, despite her pulling this I need to be alone card. She's just jumping to the next excitement, or she's preparing to. She already planned who's next. You know what I'm saying? And she's going to keep doing that for the rest of her life, by the way, until she builds self-awareness for it. And many people don't, or they do, but they can't control themselves enough to not be that way anymore. You know what I'm saying? The second lesson is about the resentment part. She is resentful. I could tell. And here's another quote that you'll probably, you may have heard this one before. Happy wife, happy life, right? Heard that one. Sorry, I see. So I'm talking about the gender roles now. I'm sorry, guy plays. I only ever seen this with females, not only in my relationships, but in other people's relationships. I gotta say, at least 9 out of 10 times I see this. When a woman is resentful, all empathy is out the window. She will fulfill every quality and trait of a sociopath. Once a woman gets resentful about you, she hates you. The word accountability does not exist in her world. It can't even be articulated to her. And any men watching this video who has dealt with a woman's wrath, you know I'm not lying. You might rage bait her or troll her to get her mad because it's entertaining, right? Sometimes it's funny to make you're playing with short, you're trolling with short. But when she's genuinely resentful, protect yourself and try to make amends. Try to calm down the situation. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes when she's resentful, she won't admit she's right either. So when she's in resentful mode, she'll lie about you. She will crash out. She will go through the whole phase while still being with you. She'll tell everyone your business. She'll try to expose you. Remember that video I made about the T app? See the title of the video. A woman's word is the strongest weapon on the planet, even if it's a lie. And that app was filled with what? Resentful women. This is how it is. Happy wife, happy life. Don't get your girl genuinely distasteful and hold grudges against you. They'll do whatever they want when they feel that way. They'll try to ruin your life. They'll use you. They become psychopathic, magical thinking out of nowhere too. They'll start deluding themselves with scenarios and situations you never said or you were never with her. Like she'll just make up things in her head. Like it's just crazy. Like, and it's the scariest thing ever. You know what I'm saying? Like Draymond, bro, whatever you did to make her feel this way, this is why she doesn't care. She made you move across the country at this point, use you up basically, and give you everything that you gave up everything you had, right? And now you're about to be homeless and you're crying every single day and you're depressed, right? You're even talking about things. You were mentioning things like last week or so about taking things too far, I should say, which I can't say because of YouTube terms, but to the point where you were about to be in the hospital, right? And you need to be monitored. That type of taking things too far with your depression. You get what I'm saying? Let's just say that. She doesn't care. She doesn't care about all that stuff. She's like, boo-hoo, I feel a little bit bad for a little bit. But anyway, I'm going to go back and just do whatever I want, right? You're saying it right here. I told you. All empathy is out the window when a happy wife is no longer a happy wife. You could be 6 feet under the dirt and she won't care until she's finally not angry anymore about whatever made her resentful. And sometimes shorties get resentful over petty things. Other times it's justified. I'm not saying every time they're resentful is for no reason. You know, maybe you genuinely did something. That's what I'm saying. Draymond, whatever you did, bro, I don't know. If she's a petty person, she gets resentful over a lot of things, like which some people are. That's another problem. But this is why I said you got to take mental notes early. See how they handle people in conflict, you know? But hey, this is what happens. Lesson learned. And I hopefully things go well with him. Like I said, I already told him, listen, if he needs any money or anything, we got you, bro. Like, I'll help you out. Hopefully others can too. This episode is found on Spotify and YouTube. I'm out.